Hey gun people, got a question on, it's getting dark out here, hopefully you can see me, if not you can hear me. Got a question on no-knock or no-knock search warrants. Now a search warrant is an order from a judge ordering any peace officer to go into the place described and to seize evidence. And that evidence can be a body, it can be blood, it can be blood fluids, it can be evidence of a crime, it can be persons. So basically a search warrant is just an order from a judge saying, hey, go do that. Now the judge gives that order because a cop wrote a search warrant. And when you write a search warrant, I say, hey, I want to search his house for this reason, this is why I believe something in here, this is my experience, this is why I think it's accurate, and this is why I think I'm going to find something. Judge goes, okay, go forth and search. He signs it, we go search, and then 10 days later I have to do a return. Now, a search warrant is kind of a mystery with a lot of cops. If you talk to most cops, most of them have never done I'd say less than 5% of all cops do search warrants, because they're just not that common. Unless you're working in a detective, or you're doing a lot of investigation, or you're working some, homicide, or maybe now they do more warrants because of this identity theft with the cell phones for tracking. But search warrants tend to be a small few people that do them, and then the people that do them, it's just easier to have them do them if you need one. But in a search warrant, there's different parameters that you can put on it. Search warrants are traditionally, by Constitution, supposed to be served between 6 in the morning and 10 at night. And the reason why they say serve the search warrants between 6 and 10 is because it's less likely that someone's going to be defending their home or sleeping and think somebody's breaking in, and therefore they're going to use force on the cops. So the government, our framers, back when the government thought about common sense, thought it was a good idea that we shouldn't have cops kicking indoors in the middle of the night because we're getting cops killed, and it's reasonable that people ought to be able to defend themselves, and most people have guns. So that was a good law, and it makes sense. Well, over time, that's pretty much gone now, because now what you can do on a warrant is you can say nighttime service. And when I do a warrant, I always put at the bottom of my warrant, nighttime service requested, yes or no. And if I wanted it for nighttime, I'd put yes. Most of the times I would put no. And now, if you put yes, I have to justify why I want to serve that warrant at nighttime. Because at nighttime, that means I can serve it any time. So I can hit you at 12 at night or 2 in the morning. Now, a lot of times if I did my nighttime search warrant, it's because I wanted some sort of anticipatory search warrant. I wanted to say, when we know John Doe, who we have a warrant for, shows up, who is going to be showing up at this house to buy dope, we want to search when he goes in the house because we know drugs will be changing, and that's when we want to go. And since we don't know when he's going to arrive at the house, we want to be able to search. If he arrives at midnight, we don't want to have the search warrant void, so therefore we want to be able to search for nighttime service. And we put nighttime service. Now there's another box that you can put in there, is called no knock and notice. Framers, common law, people that do search warrants have said, hey, the government can go in your house with a search warrant, but we have to give you a reasonable time to answer the door and to comply with the warrant. So there's a thing called knock and notice. When you do a search warrant, when I go up to the house to do a search warrant, it's like bang, 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 police, search warrant, demand entry. And then, depending on the search warrant, you'll either hear people running, you'll hear people jumping out windows, or you'll hear somebody saying, just a minute, I'm not dressed, I'm coming. And when you hear that, you bang in, bang, bang, bang. Police, search warrant, demand entry. Hang on, asshole, I'm coming. Because when they say they're coming, most people don't come to the door slowly when the cops are banging on it, unless they're hiding evidence, they're hiding somebody, or they're getting rid of shit, or they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Most people are going to be like, don't break my door, hang on, I don't know what the hell's going on, let me see what's going on, they're going to open their door. So, when you get a no-knock warrant, that means I don't have to bang and say, police, search warrant, demand entry. I don't have to do that. So that means a no-knock and notice warrant. The problem with no-knock and notice warrant is it's very reasonable for who's ever in the house. You come to my house with a no-knock warrant, you're getting shot. I'm telling you, if somebody kicks in my door, I've got a gun and grabbing distance pretty much in my house where I'm at, somebody's getting shot. Now, ideally, when we didn't know knock notice, once we got in the door, we were entering yelling, please, search warrant, get out, please, search warrant, get out. So we're coming in and we're yelling and we're announcing. But if you don't get that police out and give a guy enough time to think, and I mean, if I was a crook, that'd be the best thing in the world to do, is break into somebody's house, yell police, it would cause people to just go, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? And then maybe the government would say, okay, you don't have to, you can still shoot somebody after a few hundred people got killed because the people said police, maybe they would change it and go, you can shoot somebody if they enter your house and yell police. That would make the government not so likely to run in your house thinking they can just come in anybody's house at night. Anyway, so if I do a warrant and I want no knock and nervous and I want night service, that's the reason. And now I have to justify that to the court. Why do you, the judge should, and it depends on the judge. The judge should say, why do you want night service? Why do you want this? And then the normal justification is, it's a known drug house, gang members, we know there's weapons, the people that live there have weapon convictions, they have criminal histories that indicate they have weapons and drugs. If they have drugs, it's easy to destroy. In my experience as a police officer, I know that when cops come to the house, people flush their drugs, so if we don't get in immediately, by the time we knock on the door, the drugs will be flushed and we'll lose evidence. Therefore, we want to prevent destruction of evidence. That's our agency to get in, so we don't want to have to knock a notice, we want to do it at night. So that's basically my justification for the judge on how to get in there. I write that down, the judge goes, okay, that makes sense, that's reasonable. Go forth and kick doors. So, somebody asked me what I think about those. I don't like them. I don't like anything where the government gets more power or gets to abuse power. Even though I was a cop, even though I did it, even though it was authorized and is so-called legal, I think it's wrong. It's not good. You shouldn't be kicking in people's doors without letting them know. You shouldn't be doing that. Now, there's some bad houses. There's drug houses. We know they're drug houses. They're gang members' houses. They're flop houses. We know those are bad. Those are the exceptions to the rule. The problem is in government and law enforcement today, they don't use the rule. It's not like, okay, this is a great exception. Let's only use it sparingly. That's not how power works. When you give government or police power, it's not, okay, this is very precious, and we should keep this limited and realize that this power is a gift that is being given for specific situations. We should never abuse it. That's not how it happens. When cops get power, it's like, woohoo! Now we can go kick doors and we don't have to do that. It's just human nature. It's not because cops are bad, mean, they're all bullies and what. It's just the way it is. When politicians get power, they do the same thing. When DAs, judges, whoever gets power, it's just what you do. You want to take it out and try it out and say, hey, let me feel what this power can do. You know, you get a fast car, you don't want to go, well, I have this power, but I don't want to use it. Some people do. If I get in a fast car, I want to try to power out. I want to take it around, see what it can do. So that's what happens with power. I don't like no-knock warrants. I don't like nighttime service warrants. I think it's BS. Is there an exception when they are needed? Yes. Is there a legitimate reason sometimes? Yes. Is it abused by the cops for every case? Yes. Is there good judicial oversight that stops it from being abused? No. You got to remember, judges aren't in the habit of telling cops no. Because they know that the cops are the ones that are kind of out there fighting a battle, and they're just not going to hinder them too much. They're going to let the courts figure it out. And DAs are not, you know, people are like, why ain't the DA charging those cops? Because the cops protect him, and he has to have the cops go out and serve his warrants and arrests, and his cops have to testify, and they're on the team, the prosecution team, and you don't make a good team by arresting people on your team. So the government doesn't arrest people on their team. And then, so the judges, the lawyers, the DAs, the prosecutors, the mayor, the city council, the mayor, those are all the team. And none of those people are going to be held accountable because the team has to hold the team accountable. And you just don't do that in this day and age of lawlessness and craziness. So that's my spiel on nighttime service. Actually, it's getting to be about nighttime service here. It's getting dark. Nighttime, by law, by the penal code, is 30 minutes prior to sunset and 30 minutes prior to sunrise. So that's how usually it's defined and when nighttime is. Somebody goes, well, how do you define nighttime or daytime? It's 30 minutes before sunrise or 30 minutes before sunset or after sunset. I forgot now and I'm yapping. Anyway, all right, we'll end it there. Hopefully it helps.